All right, welcome back to another episode of Prepper Talk Radio, radio for the ready-minded. It's me, Paris Clough. We've got Scott and Shane in the house tonight. We're super excited to talk to you. We're going to talk about giving up and some of the things about what that means, and we kind of I'm going to leave you a little bit hanging there on what that means, so that we're going to jump right into to the reminders about going to our website, making sure that you go to preppertalkradio.com and join our website, join our email list there. Check out the resources. We just revamped the website so that it's new and fresh, and we hope that you like it. Also, our Facebook group has got a great opportunity to kind of jump in and get in the conversation and start helping and building a community there. This episode is brought to you by Jase Medical. And if you go to jasemedical.com, you'll see that they have antibiotics, and it's a fantastic way for you to have your antibiotics ahead of time. And they'll give those to you. You can buy those, and with a $10 off code, which is Prepper Talk, and you can use that to get $10 off. And so we're grateful that will really help support the show and keep us going. Plus, it will get you ready to go with your antibiotic supplies. So without further ado, let's jump right into giving up. And in this podcast, we're going to talk about giving up on the things that are holding you back. Is that right, Shane?
What are you asking me for? No, I'm just kidding.
Because you had a great idea to have this as a topic, and I was like, well, it's a great topic.
I just get to the point, and I don't want to jump ahead to our next segment, but I get to the point where, like, man, this is just too hard. I'm just going to give up. It's just like, relax, stick your feet up, hand down the pants, like this. And I just want to give up.
Oh, that's funny.
But I take that and then I flip it, right? Uh-huh. Because obviously that's not going to happen. I'm not giving up on prepping, on preparedness. It's just much too important. But I'm giving up on a lot of other things. And I guess what I wanted to preface this with is that giving up isn't just cold turkey, right? It's not like, okay, I'm done. I'm quitting. I'm giving up on this or that. It's a process, right? So I've got a whole list of things I'm working on giving up. But it does take some understanding and figuring out how to do some of these things, because some are pretty complex.
No, it's true. We got to give up on the things that are holding us back. And there's a lot of stuff that, if you really think about it for a minute, it's like we get into our habits. I think the average American watches, 4 to 6 hours of TV, or between TV and social media, they spend about 4 to 6 hours a day, or some ridiculous number on just nonsense. Mm-hmm. What if you took a couple of hours? What if you sacrificed? What if you gave up some TV time? Maybe you gave up a couple episodes of whatever show, whatever your Netflix, and you're binging on Netflix. What if you gave up a few hours of that and then redirected that time and energy into building a skill? Into building, learning how to do something more productive. I just connected with a couple guys here locally that are trying to build a tactical training company where I can go and learn how to use my firearm more effectively. I can go learn some self-defense. They treat, so I'm going to be giving up a couple nights a week in order to increase my skill set in that regard. Does that make that? So that's totally in line with what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I know we wanted to split this into two segments, giving up.
Well, don't spoil it.
Kind of the stuff. Sorry, we can start over. We can.
No, it's a great teaser for next
week.
Have
the power to
talk
edit
about another set of giving up.
Yeah. There's so many aspects we can. We're trying to keep these a little bit shorter,
more concise.
Your time is valuable. We want you to be out doing. And when I'm listening, I'm doing something, right? So I hope you're out there doing something. Giving up something while you're also listening at the same time, right? So, giving up, there's certain things I'm giving up on. And the obvious ones are, I'm giving up on the system. And I've been giving up on the system for a long time, but I'm still working on it. It's a process, right? Because to get out of the banking system, to get out of, under the thumb of politicians, at the thumb of governments, that's near impossible in our day and age, right? So that's probably the one I wanted to lead off with, is I'm giving up on anybody and everybody except for myself. In that, I'm only relying on myself, self-reliance, right?
Yeah.
Not giving up on you guys, right? Not giving up on my family, not giving up on my neighbors.
You're abandoning us all.
That's right. I want to. Let me tell you, I want to sometimes, right? It's like, this is just too much. It'd be so much easier if I'm just gone, forget about everybody else. and not do this podcast every week, not try and blog or any of that kind of stuff, because life is busy. Life is too hard in and of itself, right? And then we complicate it by trying to do this kind of stuff, right?
Well, it's interesting. Paris, you talked a minute ago about an average American does about 4 hours of TV a day.
Mm-hmm.
Now compound that. The average American does about 3 hours of social media a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's about 7 hours of time lost. What else? I'm going to call these addictions. What else are we addicted to that stop us from our potential and also stop us from actually accomplishing things? I think the number one thing is our thoughts. We all struggle with destructive thoughts, right? Or destructive habits. Social media, getting sucked into social media for 5-6 hours, 1 hour, 20 minutes longer than you planned on being there. 5 minutes longer than you planned on being there is bad.
Yeah.
It compounds exponentially the longer you're there, the more destructive that time has been, right? And then what happens is when you get there's so many articles now that talk about how bad social media is on our self-perception, how bad it is on mental health. TV is the same. How many actual shows are popular right now that are well crafted, well thought out, like scripted? It's all reality TV, right?
Well, Scott, the word
social media and making it a show, is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the word that comes to my mind when I think of social media, regardless of the platform, is narcissism. These are all narcissists, right? They're very and I'm speaking very general. I'm afraid I might offend some people, but very prideful, very proud people, and I'm giving up on that. I just do not want to be that kind of person. I don't want to show off, right? I don't want to be that person. Look at what I have. Look what I'm doing. That's very narcissistic. That's very self-centered. You're not thinking about others. You're thinking about yourself. And I think social media in general tends to drive people toward that, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I agree with that.
You guys, yep. I have to do this. I have to do this.
Uh-oh.
Because of what you just said, I have to hold on. Liberty Mutual, hold on. We're got a commercial coming. So, okay. Look, the narcissists, it's true. Social media creates a disillusion of reality, a negative illusion of reality, and it promotes narcissism. It gets people all hopped up on themselves in a way that just ruins so many aspects of good quality life. We used to connect. I mean, we grew up in an era where we don't have to worry about the pictures that would have been taken on social media as a childhood, because there wasn't any of those, right? Like, now everybody's posting everything, so it's like the kids today. It's like, you want to find dirt on them, search, go to the Wayback Machine, you'll find it all. But here's I have to share this. So I'm sorry, but you forced my hand, so to speak.
Can't wait to see.
Here we go. Share this. It's popping up on screen right now.
Oh my gosh, dude. Stuart. Unmute that thing.
Okay, here we go.
I don't want to.
I'm going to stop there because this goes on for a few more, 20 more seconds, 30 more seconds of look what I can do. But that is what society is
funny,
degrading to. And if you're on social media, that's what it feels like you're watching. Oh, look what I can do.
Yeah.
Hey, look what I did today. Look what I did today. Look what I did today. Look what I can do. Look at my dance moves. I'm a TikToker. Right? And I make fun of that, but I'm also sort of, I guess, I'm an influencer on TikTok, on social media. But
and there's definitely
providing value.
There's definitely a difference from people who show off, who spend so much time on their appearance and show off to those who are trying to make a difference, right? There are a lot of influencers, obviously, on TikTok and Instagram, all these, who are very uplifting, and that's why people like to watch the fuzzy bunny, rabbit, and cat videos, right? Because they make you feel good, right? But when I'm watching, 'cause I'll buzz through some of these and just see what's going on, and I just see a lot of unhappy people. Honestly, that's all I can really see is people trying to make themselves feel good about themselves,
And they're only happy while that screen is going, while the recording is on. It's more often than not.
And
then you get them into
and the likes they get. Yeah.
Well, you can actually just the results in life. You think about how many people. I haven't done any research for the show, but I just think about the things that I've heard. How many people have anxiety and panic attacks and mental health issues? You just see the things that are happening and increasing with over time in our societies. That there's got to be a reason. It's a cause and effect. If you want to know what you're doing, just look at the results. Or if you don't like the results, change what you're doing. And so if we see these things happening over and over and over again, and we're expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity, is to do something over and over again and expect a different result each time you do it. And so I think that if people want to know why we have all these problems, it's because of this self-centered idea that we can just have that, just show like we're talking about now, being a narcissist.
Yeah. So I guess in short, I'm giving up on social media. I know in what we do, we need to have some kind of presence, but man, it's just got to really keep it under control. It's not go cold turkey, but get out and do some important things. So that's what I'm giving up.
To go along with that, like giving up, not what am I giving up or I'm giving up. It's giving up things that aren't bringing value and replacing them with things that have value. I think that's the thing that we need to all focus on, especially now, because if we don't add something in that's filling that space, that boredom that we suffer during that time we would normally be wasting our time, it'll suck us right back in. It's easy to fall back in until you replace it with something positive, something beneficial. So prepping, learning skills, going over to the Ready Summit and streaming some of the courses that have already happened, or streaming some of the courses that are coming up, right?
Yeah.
Going over to the library, hopefully everyone has in their home, and grabbing a good book that they need to be studying. Oh, this one's heavy. Upside down also.
Upside down, yeah.
The garden book. Dude, this is like my 15-pound book that I'm slowly getting through. But it's like, we all should have a library. Give up the man cave and upgrade it to a library.
There you go.
You look back 30, 40 years, and what were our homes like? I remember having an area for books, like physical books. It was small. It was a bookcase, but then I look back at the people that I really admired the most throughout history. They all had these big libraries, and I'm like, man, we don't read anymore. The value in reading over watching is reading forces you to use your imagination, to visualize, and to understand. Right. So you're absorbing that stuff two different ways. It also engages your creativity. It also engages your critical thinking skills, problem solving skills. Whereas watching a TV, it's almost all of us go like this. Click. And then we grab our phones and we're like watching like this.
Yeah, you're watching your TV and your phone at the same time. It's like, how do you duel?
And your attention span's like this, and there's a fight for your attention span, and you're like, wait, what are they doing? Oh, I missed that. What's going on? And
you don't catch anything.
Yeah. Your time is so divided, and your mind is so divided that you're really accomplishing one really good thing, and that's deteriorating what you had. Because now look at your conversations with your friends. How long can you stay engaged, looking at your friend, talking to your friend, really listening to your friend?
That's a good point.
Checking our phones all the time. Oh, hold on while I check my feed. Oh, you were saying what happened in your life? That's tragic. Oh, I mean, congratulations, your kids are married. Good job. Like what are we really communicating and what's going on? They talk about the decay of society. It's because society has disconnected from each other. It's because society has stepped away from the things that actually improve society and now degrade. We've degraded thoughts. We've degraded morals. We've degraded our belief and our faith. What else are we degrading? And so give
Our
up.
health. Oh, you said
Our health.
right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's on my list as well.
Got me. Yeah. Like we need to stop. We need to give up on the things that aren't doing us any good. I gave up yesterday. This has been a hard day for me. I gave up yesterday on something in preparation for this show. I'm trying to improve my life. I started going to the gym. I gave up on being lazy. I gave up on not caring about my health. And I go to the gym. I'm drinking a lot more water. I'm trying to eat healthier. I've lost a little bit of weight, but nothing substantial really. But most importantly, I'm feeling better. But I gave up something yesterday that has been an addiction, a big addiction. And it's a beverage. And I'm going to ask you guys if you can guess what that beverage is.
I don't think we even need to guess. Mountain Dew.
Dr. Pepper. Oh, Mountain Dew.
Dr. Pepper. What are you, crazy?
Sorry.
Mountain Dew. I became addicted to it. I needed a bottle or two a day to survive the day.
You didn't say can. I noticed that.
A bottle.
It was a bottle.
You said
it was 2 bottles a day.
oh,
it was
dang.
and it's the 6-pack bottles, so they're like, I don't know, 16 and
16 ounces
probably. Let me check my garbage. I've got them from yesterday.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've got that on my list too, Scott. I've got junk food, sugar, soda, and I think I'm doing well until I realize, what do I have in my hand here? Why am I eating this? Because habit, right? Because it's there, it's easy, and other people in the house want something, and it's awfully hard for me to say, no, I don't want ice cream before we go to bed, right? That's one of my favorite. I love ice cream. And so
who doesn't?
Exactly.
Right? Obviously lactose intolerant people, but I'm like,
I'm sure they still like it, except for what it does to them, right?
That was actually what I asked my wife. I said, what flavor ice cream do you like? Before I married her, we were out on a date, and I was like, this is the determining question. What flavor ice cream do you like? And she said mint and chip. And I was like, you're done. You're it. That's it. I'm marrying you. Because mint and chip was my favorite too. That was we had to have ice cream, mint and chip ice cream in our house.
It is still.
Well, it is still. However, I can't eat it very much because I have a reaction. My body reacts to dairy and sugars. I get flare-ups in my joints if I eat too much sugar and dairy over a long period of time. So I can take it like once a week, maybe like a treat, a little cheat day or whatever. I can have
you need
those,
to make
those
your
treats.
own ice cream.
That's probably true too.
It will change how your body reacts to it.
Plus, you get some exercise too.
Right. And that's something I can give up. I can give up the processed foods for more natural foods.
Exactly.
And that's something we should be giving up anyways, and go back to our roots. I mean, there's that Disney came out with, I think it was Disney, maybe it was Pixar. I don't know if they're related or not, but they came out with that movie several years ago, Wall-E, where everybody gets to the point where they're so lazy. All they want to do is be entertained. They just watch TV all the time. And they can't even walk anymore because they have to have these like hovercraft chairs that carry them around everywhere.
Recliners.
Yeah, hover recliners. And there's just a reality to sometimes these movies come out with predictive programming. Well, not sometimes, quite often, but it was also, I feel like, a little bit of a satire, like, hey, look, guys, if we don't pay attention to what we're doing, we're going to end up just like these guys running around, totally unhealthy, overweight, and lazy.
And I was like 2 episodes in life away from being that guy. And now
give it up, Scott. Give it up.
So I'm actually tempted to take and frame this thing and put it on the wall back there as a sad reminder and to put it behind me. But we've, like, everyone listening to this, you've got things you're holding on to. You've got fundamental changes that need to happen in your life just to improve your life and improve your mindset and your situation. But if you give those things up, you're going to find time to improve your situation by prepping, by maybe getting a second job. Like, fill that time with something productive.
Yeah.
Fill that time with reading. Like, go make a spot in your house that's good for reading with no electronic devices in that room. And when you go to read, set your phone in the other room.
Yeah. It was funny. I was talking to my daughter just the other day and telling her that I used to watch a movie back when Netflix was discs, back when they had the DVDs.
Mhm.
I would get the 3 disc or 4 disc a month thing. And so I was just always, every weekend, I was watching at least one movie on the disc. And that's, 2 hours, 3 hours a weekend. And then I stopped doing that. And I started doing more things about how I could self-develop, how I could build my business, how I could learn a new skill and increase my time and be more productive with my time. And then I also had, I think on top of that, I think I had 4 sitcoms I was watching every week too. And I was like, what am I doing with my time? And I realized that I came to that moment of clarity where I was like, what am I doing wasting so much time every week? What can I be doing more productively with this time? And ever since then, now I don't know how I used to do that. Like, I do so much every day. I look and I'm thinking to myself,
there's no time to watch anything.
Yeah, how did I ever have time to do any of that?
Yeah.
It's wild how it fills in with good stuff. And what's crazy is my daughter, who loves to read, she reads fictional books, and I read, business books and factual books. And so my son loves to read as well. And they're like, so Dad, how many books have you read so far this year? Because I read like 8 or 9. I'm like, well, let me count. And I went and counted. I had at least half a dozen to almost a dozen books that I've read this year, all about self-improvement, all about business, how to better market for my business and build my business and just different books. I was like, wow, I didn't count until later. And I realized, wow, I had spent that much time and I'd read that many books and how much more I've been grateful for that, actually. So it's been really cool to see the progress.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of times I'm tempted to just, man, it's been a long day. I'm tired. I'm going to sit down and just do nothing. But just like you, Paris, like, man, I'm just wasting my time. There's so many things I could be doing. I've taken up again more of dedication to practicing the piano. I learned as a kid, and it kind of has fallen away a little bit, and I'm back at it, trying to memorize a few songs and just taking, really spend quality time with myself. When I'm not, awesome. With the family and others. But another thing that I'm working on giving up is banking accounts, right? Try that one. See how hard that one is, right? Go get cash, pay cash for everything. Get your paycheck in a check. Walk to the bank, say, I don't have an account. Practice being unbanked, right? Because the agenda of the banks, the world elite, whatever, is to get everybody banked. The third world bank, they want everybody banked because they say, it's a handicap for not everyone to be banked, to have a bank. So let's do the opposite, right? Let's quit on the banking system and become your own bank. And you guys know, that's what I'm doing, with my own other assets and such. I'm my own bank. I don't want to be plugged in. And that's a hard one. That's a real hard one. That's not a cold turkey one either. You probably could, but it just makes the life a lot more difficult. And that's the thing, is it's so convenient to say, okay, I'm going to click my bills here, click pay, right? Do everything online from your bank account instead of taking some cash, walking it in. If you can even walk things in nowadays,
right? That's the problem.
That's the problem. It's made purposely difficult.
That's gonna be fun to watch, to see how that works for you.
Just how long it works.
I'm trying. I'm experiencing the difficulties of being unbanked. I'm still banked.
The CDBCs or whatever they're coming out.
That's coming, yeah. And that's another thing I think we can more easily practice, because when that comes, it's going to be forced upon you, but you can say no, right? And I'm not going to be part of that system. I'm not going to plug into that. So I think that's very possible at this point. We'll see. We'll see how bad it gets, right?
What's interesting is the head of the Canadian Reserve Bank system keeps asking the U.S. every time they have a meeting, what problem does this solve?
Yeah, for the new Fed now,
they're doing in China,
right?
What problem did it solve? China. This is solving no problem. Everything this is supposed to be able to do.
Surveillance problem, right?
Exactly. It doesn't improve our lives. It only improves their information gathering.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're hiring 87,000 armed IRS agents.
Right.
At the same time, they're starting to kick off their new FedNow program, which is their new. It's not a digital currency. It's a. I don't understand it exactly, but it's like they have an account for each one of us that the
Wow.
federal deposit money in. Eventually, I think it'll lead to your daily stipend, right?
Your universal basic
Universal
income.
basic income, and which will be tied to a credit score.
Yep.
And not just to a credit score, but a social credit score. So just say no, right?
I was going to say they have a file on me already, so let's just what's a couple more papers in my file.
That's all true, but okay, what's next? Now we're coming up on 25 minutes here.
Well, I was going to say that another thing that we can really give up is some of the traditions that we've probably lived with. It's really, really difficult to give up on belief systems, things that we've been trained our whole lives taught by our parents. And that can be anything from how we manage our money, how we deal with our friends, should we keep our kids in the public school system. We've had a great interview in the past. I actually had a comment on what the interview we did. I don't remember what episode it was, but it was with Carrie Bartholomew, who came in and talked to us about the SEL and all that stuff. A lady came in and made a comment on that video. I replied back to her today on our YouTube channel. And she's like, this is great information, just what I needed to hear. Thank you so much for having this interview. So that's still relevant, which is cool because there's so many different things we've grown up believing that is that something we should still keep believing? Now, this can be a really hard exercise for people to do, but every once in a while, it's a good idea to kind of approach life with a few, not necessarily doubts, but with like a little bit of, open-mindedness. Let's see if what I've been taught my whole life, is this something that I should keep believing, should continue to have as my value system, or if it's something that I need to let go of and change. And that's something that's hard to do. And I think it's something that's going to be important because if everything hits the fan, like we know it's going to hit, and some of the things that people are preparing for, like super zombie apocalypse, doomsdays, and I don't know that it'll go that bad, but the reality is that if we have to leave everything that we know, we have to leave the comforts of our home, we have to leave the comforts of our societies, the comforts of going to the grocery store, if we have to leave all that behind and go into the woods or the wilderness for a time to survive, are we going to be able to make it mentally, psychologically, physically? Are you able, if God called on you today and said, you need to leave, would you be able to, like Egypt, like when he called on the house of Israel back in the Egyptians, he says, you need to leave Egypt, you need to leave everything that you know. You've been there for hundreds of years. Everything you've grown accustomed to, all the traditions, all the thoughts, all the norms, all the value systems you've been trained up and taught, you need to leave all of that behind and you need to go into the wilderness. And I got a promised land for you. I got a special place for you to go.
They didn't do that very well, did they?
Well, let me give you a better example. Lot.
Yeah,
Lot was in the thick of it. The wealthiest city in the world, the most wicked city in the world. Lot was like, I got the third house on the left right over there, between absolute perdition and this other sin. Now, I'm not going to name names, but they're both really horrible, but I love the view. And the Lord's like, Lot, get out of here. Sent two angels. And they're like, dude, get out and don't look back. Right. And then what happened to Lot after that?
Yeah.
Well, his wife turned into a pillar of salt because she's like, but I'm going to miss. Oh, gosh, that's over. Right. And then he was blessed with greatness. He had so many blessings that came after that. There was trial and there was hardship, but it's like, that's more what we have to give up than what, like the Egyptians, they all left together out of bondage. Right now, you've got to be like Lot so that you can prepare to be like the Egyptians. I mean, by the Israelites, right? You've got to step away from Sodom and Gomorrah. You've got to disconnect, unplug, rip out the debit card, cut it up, throw it away, whatever you've got to do. If you want to go that route, like what we have to do right now is we have to cut ties with the bondage that we've allowed ourselves to be put into.
Yeah,
in a world that doesn't seem like bondage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's really what this is kind of getting to, is giving up is what gives you freedom, right?
Mhm.
Giving up on all these things we're talking about is what gives you more freedom of choice, and to get out of this system, which is like the Israelites. They were in bondage. We are really not much different
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
The systems that we're tied to, we're in bondage as well. So that's what my ultimate goal is, Scott. Just like you're saying, that's perfect wrap up. Is that this helps give freedom. It's harder. It's more painful. It's not easy,
If
but
you
it's
do it now,
it's going to be easier.
it's going to be easier when
Yeah.
things are taken away.
At least start the
Israel, everything
process.
was taken away. Like when they left, it was like you didn't have homes. You didn't, like Lot had somewhere to go to. Right? He was welcome to the tents of his brother. Where are we going to go? We've got to prepare ourselves now, mentally more than anything, emotionally, because when that safety net, we'll call it right now, when that's gone, because I feel like we're going to have the SHTF is going to be a stair step system down. Oh, this is changing. Kuchuku. Oh, now this is changing. Kuchuku. Oh, now this is changing. Kuchuku. And then you're like, we're in the wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the Lord comes back, and maybe we can get in this in the next episode, but when the Lord comes back, he's coming back first for the 10 virgins. And he will accept his crown of glory. And then after the marriage, after he receives his crown and his anointing, then he goes to Old Jerusalem and splits them out. And that's when he destroys all the wicked in the whole world. Like, we have to prepare for him now. And if we can disconnect from the idolatry and all those things that are degrading our soul, degrading our spirit, degrading our mind, wasting our time, if we unplug from those now, even if it's just one little thing at a time, like cut something, if you can cut something. I cut Mountain Dew. Guys, that's a huge, huge change for me. I almost want to shake, like, because it's,
You're missing it.
I'm like a crack fiend for stupid soda with caffeine in it. You have to start somewhere, and start now of your own will and choice before it's forced upon you, because I can tell you it's going to be a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes more sense to prepare yourself now to give up those things. Like you're saying, if we have to leave, like Lot did, out into the wilderness, you're going to leave most of your stuff behind.
Yeah.
But you're not leaving this behind. You're not leaving this behind, right? You're leaving your stuff. And for
Yeah.
the most part, who cares about your stuff? So disconnect from those things, give those things up now, and they're not part of what I am. They don't define me. My things don't define me. They're not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
We need things as preppers. We got to have stuff. We need stuff to survive, right? So that's, for me, kind of hard to, like, am I being worldly? Am I being wanting to have stuff? I don't think so. Because it's not just about me. It's about my family. It's about taking care of myself and my family. So that's a bit of a line. There's things I'm going to have to give up. So give them up now, so you don't have to give them up, be forced to give them up, and then miss them and turn around and turn into a pillar of salt, like you're saying.
Yeah, that reminds me of a story that I heard a long time ago about how these hunters in Africa will capture monkeys, and they'll basically hollow out a coconut, and they'll make a hole in one end that's just big enough for the monkey to put his hand through, and then they'll put some peanuts inside the coconut, and then they'll tie a rope on the other side of the coconut. They'll put a hole on the other side with a rope that they can pull, and so what happens is the monkeys will go in there and they'll grab for these. They'll put their hand inside the coconut. They'll be able to put it, squeeze it in there, and then they'll grab the peanuts because they got to have those peanuts. And when they grab the peanuts and make a fist, they now cannot pull their hand out of the coconut. And so the rope tied to the other end of the coconut is now pulled by the hunter, and he can literally pull the monkey right to him. And that's how they can capture these monkeys, or that's one way that they've been doing it. And I thought to myself, and it was at a business conference that we were talking about, and the guy says, "Stop trading your freedom for peanuts." And that hit me. And that's the same kind of thing that this conversation has been about. Stop trading your skills, stop trading the things that you are of value and importance to you for the things of the world that would be considered peanuts.
Stop trading your family's preparedness for peanuts.
Exactly. And with that, we'll wrap up. We've been 35 minutes or so. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for being with us. And we really appreciate it. Make sure that you double check the jasemedical.com. It's jasemedical.com to get your antibiotics. And then also go to our website at preppertalkradio.com to make sure that you get involved with us, and then join our Facebook group. We really appreciate you being with us today, and hope that you'll have a great week. You'll stay prepared, you'll get prepared, you'll be prepared, and that you'll do an inventory of those things that you can give up and get rid of the peanuts in your life and go for the things of value. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time.